It was just after 7 p.m. when I heard a knock. I wasn't expecting anyone. Opening the door, I saw Emily, my neighbor from across the hall. She was wrapped in a towel, clearly flustered and shivering slightly. "Hey, I'm so sorry to bother you," she said quickly, glancing over her shoulder. "My shower just burst. There's water everywhere. I don't know what to do." Emily had only moved into the building 2 weeks ago. We'd said hello once in the hallway, that was it. But something in her eyes told me this wasn't just about plumbing. I nodded. "Come in. Let's figure it out." She stepped inside, still holding the towel tightly. I handed her a hoodie and pointed her to the bathroom. While she changed, I grabbed my toolbox. Fixing pipes wasn't exactly my specialty, but I'd seen a few YouTube tutorials. That had to count for something. By the time she came out, fully dressed in my oversized hoodie, she looked calmer, but still nervous. "I'm really sorry about this," she said again, sitting on the edge of my couch. I didn't know who else to ask. "No worries," I smiled. "Let's go take a look." We walked across the hallway to her apartment, and that's when things started to feel off. The water wasn't just leaking. It was gushing, and not just from the shower head. The entire back wall looked like it had been tampered with. I turned to Emily. "How long has this been happening?" She bit her lip. "That's the thing. I think someone did this on purpose." I stared at her. "Wait, what do you mean on purpose?" Emily crossed her arms tightly, stepping carefully over the puddle forming on her bathroom floor. "I know it sounds crazy," she whispered. "But ever since I moved in, weird things have been happening." I kneeled near the pipe, trying to shut off the water valve under the sink. "Weird like?" She hesitated. "Like someone's been inside when I'm not home. Things get moved. Lights I didn't leave on. My spare key went missing a few days ago, then reappeared. The valve wouldn't budge." I wiped my hands. "Why didn't you say something to the building manager?" Emily looked at me with a flat, tired expression. "Because I don't trust him. He's the one who insisted on giving me a unit in this wing. The cameras in this hallway don't even work." That caught my attention. I stood up and took another look at the damaged pipe. It wasn't worn or corroded, it was cut cleanly. "Okay," I said slowly, "this isn't normal. At all." Emily nodded, her voice shaky. "You believe me?" I gave her a serious look. "I believe someone wanted this pipe to break." She let out a deep breath, half relief, half fear. "Stay at my place tonight," I offered. "Just until we sort this out. This whole setup feels wrong." She blinked, clearly taken aback by the offer. "You'd really let me stay over?" "I'm not letting you stay alone in a place where someone might be sneaking in. You're safer across the hall." She hesitated, then nodded. As we stepped out of her apartment and into mine, she turned to me just before I shut the door. "I never told anyone about the missing key," she said. "And yet, it came back yesterday." I froze. "Where did you find it?" I asked. Her answer made my stomach turn. "Under your doormat." I stared at Emily, trying to make sense of what she'd just said. "My doormat?" I repeated. "You're sure?" She nodded slowly. "Positive. I know it sounds insane, but I had been looking for that key for a week. Then yesterday, I found it tucked under your mat like someone wanted me to see it." A chill ran down my spine. I racked my brain. I hadn't seen anything unusual outside my apartment. No one lurking in the hallway. No signs of forced entry. Nothing. But if what she said was true, someone had been trying to send a message, either to her, or to both of us. Emily sat on the couch, nervously twisting the sleeves of the hoodie I'd given her. I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe it was a prank. But now the shower, I grabbed my phone. I'm calling the building supervisor. No, she blurted, louder than intended. Please. Not yet. What if he's involved? I hesitated, phone in hand. As crazy as it sounded, I couldn't rule it out. I had lived in this building for 4 years, and I'd always thought it was safe. But I'd also kept to myself. Maybe too much. All right, I said, setting the phone down. Then we go with plan B. What's plan B? She asked warily. I went to my closet and pulled out an old motion-activated camera I used when I traveled. We set this up across the hall, right outside your apartment. If someone's been going in, we'll catch them. Emily looked at the small device like it was the most valuable thing in the world. You really don't have to do this. I know, I said. But I want to. Just as I was about to open the door to install the camera, there was a knock. 3 slow knocks. Emily's face went pale. She whispered, "That's how they knock." I looked through the peephole. No one was there. I opened the door cautiously, heart pounding. The hallway was completely empty. No footsteps. No voices. Just silence and dim light. Emily stood frozen behind me. "That's how they always knock," she whispered again. 3 slow ones. Then nothing. I stepped out, glancing both ways down the hall. Still no one. Then I saw it. A small folded note, resting right at the edge of my doormat. I bent down, picked it up, and unfolded it carefully. 2 words were scrawled across it in sharp, rushed handwriting: "Stop helping." I turned and looked at Emily. Her face drained of all color. "Okay," I said, forcing calm into my voice. "This just got a lot more serious." She grabbed the doorframe to steady herself. "They know I'm here." I pulled her back inside and locked the door. "Who are you hiding from, Emily?" For a moment, she didn't answer. Then, quietly, she sat down and said something that flipped everything on its head: my ex was part of something. Something I wasn't supposed to know about. I walked away, but he didn't. I sat across from her, listening carefully. He made it look like I was crazy. Isolated me. Watched me. Even after I left the city, I felt eyes on me everywhere I went. This was supposed to be my fresh start. I never told anyone. Not even my family. I took a deep breath. "You think he found you?" She nodded. "I think, he never stopped watching." The camera in my hand suddenly felt like the only lifeline we had. "All right," I said. "We're going to set this up now. And we're going to get evidence. You're not alone anymore." Her eyes welled up, but she didn't cry. As I opened the door once more to mount the camera, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Every single doormat on the hallway floor had a folded note. All of them said the same thing: "Mind your business." I stood in the hallway, frozen. Every doormat. Every door. Every neighbor. The same folded note: "Mind your business." I took a step back, scanning for any sign of a camera, a person, anything that could explain how someone had done this so quietly. So quickly. Nothing. Just silence. I grabbed one of the notes and brought it back inside. Emily was sitting on the couch, hugging her knees to her chest. Her eyes widened when she saw the paper. "It's not just you," I said. "Someone left this message for the whole floor." She stared at it like it was a bomb. "They're trying to scare everyone into silence." I paced, adrenaline spiking. "This isn't just paranoia anymore, Emily. This is organized. Calculated." She whispered, "This is exactly how he operated before." No one believed me. He would make it seem like I was imagining it all. I turned to her. "But you're not imagining it. I see it now too. And I've got a plan." I pulled out my phone again and texted a friend, Marcus, a guy I went to college with who now worked private security. He owed me a favor. Me, need eyes on hallway cams. Urgent. Quiet. Marcus, give me 30 minutes, don't touch anything. I locked the apartment door and sat next to Emily. Help is coming. Someone I trust. Ex-military. Discreet. She looked at me, eyes searching mine. Why are you doing this for me? I hesitated, then answered honestly. Because I've been where you are. Not the same story, but I know what it's like when no one believes you. And I won't let that happen to you again. For the first time since she knocked on my door, I saw her breathe, really breathe. 30 minutes later, there was a different kind of knock. Sharp. Rhythmic. Confident. I opened the door and there stood Marcus, calm as ever, scanning the hallway with precision. This the place? He asked. I nodded. We've got a serious problem. He smirked slightly. Let's find out who's behind it. Marcus stepped inside, dressed in a simple black hoodie and jeans, but everything about him screamed discipline. Military eyes. Steady hands. Always watching. Emily sat up straighter, still uneasy, but something about Marcus seemed to make her feel just a bit safer. This is Emily, I said. She's the target. Marcus nodded once at her. I read the texts. Show me the notes. I handed him one. He held it up to the light, examining the paper and ink. Sharpie. Rushed handwriting. Probably written on site. He looked at me. Security cams? I shook my head. Building says they work, but Emily says this hallway's cameras are fake. Marcus smirked. Let's find out. He walked over to the corner of the hallway and pulled a small device from his pocket, a scanner for detecting hidden wireless signals. He held it near the hallway camera. No response. Dead. Fake, he confirmed. Classic intimidation move. Keeps people feeling watched, without actually recording anything. I glanced at Emily. She looked both relieved and terrified. So no one's watching. Oh, someone's watching, Marcus said. Just not through that. He placed the motion-activated camera I'd prepared on the hallway wall, angled perfectly toward Emily's apartment door. Then he surprised me. He walked back into my apartment, and pulled a second, smaller camera from his bag. This one. He hid inside my peephole. 2 angles, he said. One wide, one discreet. You'll have eyes on everything. I asked the obvious question. You think whoever's doing this will come back tonight? Marcus's face darkened. I'd bet on it. People like this, control freaks, they don't like being ignored. You helped her. That alone made you a threat. Emily looked down. I'm sorry I dragged you into this, I interrupted. Stop. We're in this together now. Marcus pulled out his laptop and linked the camera feeds. 2 black and white windows appeared on screen, showing both hallway angles. Then he said something that made my heart stop. I've got motion alerts set up. If anyone comes near this door, we'll know immediately. But if they're smart, he tapped the screen. They won't come through the front. Marcus's words echoed in my mind, they won't come through the front. Emily's eyes darted to the window. My apartment was on the 3rd floor, not exactly easy access, but suddenly that didn't feel high enough. Marcus walked over and checked the lock. Then he examined the frame, the glass, even the windowsill outside. His movements were quick, precise. This wasn't tampered with, he said. But let's be sure. He pulled out a wedge-shaped alarm device and stuck it to the inside bottom corner of the window. If this window opens even an inch tonight, we'll hear it. And so will the building. Emily looked around nervously. You really think they'll come back tonight? Marcus didn't answer right away. Instead, he walked into the kitchen, glanced around, then stepped into the bathroom. After a few tense minutes, he returned and said, "Whoever did that pipe job in her apartment knew what they were doing. It was sliced clean, and hidden behind drywall. That's not a random stalker. That's someone with time, access, and a message." Emily sat down, hugging a pillow tightly. He always liked doing things with symbols. Notes. Broken things. He'd make you feel watched, long before he ever showed up. Marcus turned to me. "We'll take turns watching the feed. I'll do the first half of the night. You take the second." I nodded. "You think they'll show?" He looked back at the screen. 2 blank hallway feeds. Still. Silent. Calm. Then he said, almost like a whisper, "They already have." We both leaned in. The hallway feed rewound 5 minutes. A flicker. A shadow. Just outside Emily's old door. A figure had approached. Hooded. Slow. Careful not to step in front of any door directly. They bent down. Left something. Then disappeared. Marcus zoomed in. Another note. Same handwriting. Same paper. But this one didn't say, "Stop helping." It said, "You're next." The room went dead silent as Marcus froze the screen. The figure had vanished almost as quickly as it appeared, slipping out of frame like a ghost. Emily clutched the pillow tighter. "He's escalating." Marcus stood and turned to me. "We need to grab that note. Carefully. No smudging. I want prints." I nodded and followed him to the door. The hallway looked the same as before, quiet, dimly lit, and eerie in its stillness. But now, there was a new note sitting in the center of the floor, neatly placed like a gift nobody wanted. Marcus pulled on gloves, pulled out a zip bag from his backpack, and picked it up like he'd done this 100 times. Probably because he had. He handed me the bag to hold. "This is evidence. If we report this later, we need everything airtight." "Wait," Emily whispered from the door. "There's something on the back." Marcus flipped it over. In the corner, almost invisible unless you were looking for it, was a number. 3B, that was my apartment. "They know exactly where she is," Marcus muttered. "And now they're letting us know that they know." He shut the door and bolted it. Then he pulled the curtain over the window, double-checked the camera feed, and turned to us. "We're staying awake tonight. Both of you." Emily looked like she wanted to protest, but she just nodded. Hours passed. Nothing moved on the cameras. No new knocks. No new shadows. Just stillness. Until 2:14 a.m. Suddenly, the motion alert chimed. But it wasn't coming from the front hallway. Marcus's laptop screen split, one feed from the hallway, one from the peephole cam. The peephole cam showed something unexpected. A piece of black tape, being slowly slid over the lens, from the inside. Marcus leapt up, eyes wide. "They're already in the building." Marcus bolted toward the front door as I ran to the window, but it was still sealed tight, the alarm undisturbed. No signs of forced entry. Nothing broken. Yet someone had covered the peephole from the hallway side, and vanished again. How did they get past the hallway cam? I asked, adrenaline racing through me. "They didn't," Marcus replied, pulling up the footage. He rewound it frame by frame. Then we saw it. At 2:13 and 47 seconds a.m., the hallway light flickered for less than a second, and in that exact moment, the figure appeared. Just a blur, moving low, fast, like someone crawling. We paused it. They were wearing a full mask and gloves. No face. No identity. And in their hand, a roll of black tape. They moved like a shadow. And then, gone again. They knew the camera angle, Marcus muttered. They tested our response time. Emily was pale. That's what he used to do. He'd watch from just outside the edge of what you could see. Then get closer. Marcus turned to her. He's done this before. She nodded. At my old place. The fire alarm was always triggered at 2 a.m. Every time, there was no fire, just silence. Then I'd find small things moved. Bent photos. Burned matches in the sink. Marcus's expression turned grim. This guy's not just stalking, he said. He's rehearsing. Like he's building up to something. I checked every lock again. Front door. Windows. Balcony. Nothing had been breached. And yet. Marcus's phone buzzed. He looked down, then showed it to me. An anonymous number had just sent him a message, 2 cameras. One mind. Guess which one blinks first. Attached, was a live photo. From inside my apartment. Looking straight at us, the photo showed exactly what we feared. Me. Marcus. Emily. Sitting on the couch just minutes ago. Same clothes. Same posture. Same expressions. It was taken from high up, maybe from a ceiling vent or hidden corner. The angle made my skin crawl. Emily backed into the wall, trembling. He's inside. He's been inside. Marcus moved instantly, sweeping the room. He yanked open closets, checked under furniture, even pulled the vent covers. Nothing. But then he stopped. Near the bookshelf. There, nestled behind a few old DVDs, was a tiny wireless pinhole camera. Blinking. He pulled it free, crushed it in his fist, and cursed under his breath. I asked, could it have been there since I moved in? He shook his head. Too new. Batteries fresh. He planted this recently, probably when we were checking her place. Emily looked sick. That means he was in here, while we were gone. I sat down, the weight of it hitting me all at once. This guy doesn't just want to scare us, I said. He's playing a game. Marcus's face was stone. And now, we play back. He opened his backpack again and pulled out something I hadn't seen before, a portable signal jammer. This'll cut any unauthorized wireless feeds. Cameras, mics, anything not on our private network. But it'll only work in a small radius. He turned it on. A soft hum filled the air. Now, he said, we find out how deep this goes. We traced every inch of the apartment. With Marcus's scanner, we found 2 more hidden devices, one under the kitchen cabinet, another inside the smoke detector. Emily looked like she might collapse. And then, Marcus's laptop pinged. A new notification. The hallway camera feed had been disabled. A black screen replaced the live feed. And just underneath it, another message appeared, as if someone had hacked into our system. Blink. Marcus's jaw tightened as he stared at the laptop screen. Someone's inside the network, he muttered. They're not just watching, they're challenging us. Emily stepped back, pressing herself against the far wall like she wanted to disappear. This is exactly how it started last time. He plays games. Then he punishes you for losing. Marcus began typing rapidly, trying to regain access to the hallway camera. I looked at the message again, blink. One word. Simple. But it felt like a countdown. Is he waiting for us to make a move? I asked. No, Marcus said coldly. He's warning us not to. Then something happened that made our blood run cold. The lights flickered, and went out. Total darkness. The laptop screen still glowed, now displaying nothing but black, every camera feed dead. We were blind. Then we heard it. A single knock. Not on the front door. But on the wall. The wall that separated my apartment from Emily's old one. Emily gasped and clutched my arm. He's in there. I know it. Marcus pulled a flashlight from his bag, handed me a backup, and drew a compact pistol from a hidden holster. We're going next door. Now. I started to protest, but he cut me off. If we wait, he disappears again. If we move, we take control back. Emily hesitated. Stay here, Marcus told her. As soon as we're inside, lock the door behind us. If we don't come back in 5 minutes, call the cops and send them this location. She nodded shakily. We stepped into the hallway. It was pitch black. Only our flashlights cutting through the void. I had never felt the building this quiet before. Like it was holding its breath. We reached her door. Marcus put his hand on the knob. It turned on its own. The door slowly creaked open. Empty. Dark. Silent. Marcus raised his light, scanning the kitchen, the living room, the floor. Then I saw it. Scrawled across the mirror in the bathroom, in black marker, she left me. You helped her. Now she pays. And beneath it, a photo. Of me. Sleeping. I stood frozen, staring at the photo taped to the mirror. It was me, clearly asleep in my own bed. The angle suggested the shot was taken from above, possibly through a ceiling vent. My heart thudded. He was in my room, I whispered. While I was sleeping. Marcus scanned the apartment with his light, gun still drawn. This guy's bold. Too bold. He's not just watching, he's been close for a long time. Then he paused. The floor tile in front of the mirror was slightly raised. He knelt down and pried it loose. Beneath it, was a crawlspace hatch. Marcus looked up at me. You ready? No, I said. But let's finish this. We opened it slowly. The crawlspace was narrow, dark, and smelled of damp wood. Marcus went first, crawling carefully. I followed. We moved in silence, flashlights cutting through the darkness, and then we saw it. A small chamber, barely big enough to crouch in. Inside, a makeshift mattress, snack wrappers, notebooks, and dozens of photos pinned to the walls. Photos of Emily. Of me. Of neighbors. Of the building's interior. And in the center, an old, locked phone with cracked glass. Marcus grabbed it and bagged it. This is it, he said. Evidence. We bring this to the cops, he's done. But that's when we heard it. Back in my apartment, a loud crash. Emily, I breathed. We crawled back as fast as we could, burst into the hallway, and threw open my door. Emily was on the floor, breathing hard. The table was overturned. Her eyes wide with panic. I heard him, she gasped. He whispered my name. From inside the closet. Marcus ran over, flung open the door, empty. But on the floor inside was one final message. Scratched into the wood with something sharp. You blinked. That night, we handed everything to the police, the photos, the devices, the hidden phone. The next 48 hours were a blur. Turned out, Emily's ex had hired someone, a former surveillance tech, to track her after the breakup. When he got arrested on unrelated charges, the tech kept going, obsessed with the control. He had been living in the walls for over 2 months. The man was caught days later, hiding in a storage unit across town. He never spoke a word. Emily eventually moved out. But before she left, she knocked on my door one last time. I just wanted to say thank you, she said softly. For believing me. For not blinking. Then she smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from her. And left me with one final note. This one said, sometimes, family isn't who you're born with. It's who stays when everyone else runs.